Hello, my dear student, how are you? And now today we are on lesson 5, comparing lengths. We talked before lesson 4, and it was about selecting measuring tools in order to measure the length. Now today, firstly, let us to know what it meant by comparing lengths. It's a question that make us think about how to compare lengths. Now, the answer it will be, it means to state which object is longer and which is shorter. So, by measuring the length of each object, then we will decide which one is longer and which one is shorter than. So we will have two objects. We have to compare between them by using these two words, longer than and shorter than. To make it more clear for you, I hope you to go with me to page 330 from our student book, exercise A. Now, with exercise A, the question is measure the drawings of objects, then complete the sentence. Now, number 1, it's done for you. So that's why you have to go with me to number 2. And number 2 is here with us. Number 2, we have two objects. The first one, it's a ribbon, and the second one, it's a pencil. Now, in order to compare between their lengths, we have to measure the length of each object firstly, and then we will decide which one is longer than and which one is shorter than the other. Let's start with the ribbon. If you have an inch ruler, you can measure these two things because they are small things, and we said before with the last lesson that for smaller things or smaller objects we can use an inch ruler to measure the length by it. So with your an inch ruler, please measure these two objects. Now you will measure it, and you will find that the ribbon that you have, it will be nearly 2 inches. So the ribbon, it will be 2 inches. It's about 2 inches. Now what about the pencil that we have? Also we can measure it by using an inch ruler, and it will be 3 inches. Now we have a ribbon which is about 2 inches and a pencil which is about 3 inches. Now 2 inches and 3 inches. Now down you have a sentence, and we have to complete the sentence. Let's start with the sentence. The ribbon is inches than the pencil. We have to complete these two dashes. How? Now the ribbon is how many inches less than or more than the pencil? Now the ribbon is 2 inches and the pencil 3 inches. So 2 less than 3. 2 less than 3, how many inches? The ribbon is 1 inches. 1. The ribbon is 1 inch. Sorry. The ribbon is 1 inch. It should be 1 inch. So we have to omit the ES here. The ribbon is 1 inch. 1 inch shorter or longer than a pencil. It's shorter than a pencil. So the ribbon is 1 inch shorter than the pencil. That's how we can complete the sentence by using these two, by comparing these two objects. Okay, that's all about exercise A from page 330. Now please switch the page and go with me to page 331. Sorry. Now page 331 from our student book also. Exercise A. The question is find the objects and measure them, then circle the correct answer. We have an object. We have an object. We have to measure them firstly, and then we have to circle which is shorter, which is taller. Okay? Go with me to number one. Number one here, which is shorter? The question is which is shorter. So we have to circle the shorter one. Okay? Now, what we have a bulletin board that we put the notes, the things on it. And the second one is the whiteboard that we have on our class. Now, we have to measure the length firstly. We have to measure the length by using our the correct tool for measuring these objects. And then we have to decide. And if you see with me, look at the bulletin board and look at the length of it, and then look at the whiteboard and the length of it. Now, you will decide that the whiteboard is the shorter one after you measure it by using the correct tools. So the whiteboard is the shorter object, okay? The shorter object with its length. Now go to number two, which is taller. What we have, firstly we have your desk, and the second one it's the teacher's desk. Look at your desk and look at the length and look at the length of the teacher's desk and decide which is taller. Even though if you don't have any tools to measure the length, you can decide which is taller by looking to these two lengths. It should be the teacher's desk. So this is the taller object. Okay? So we can say that teacher's desk is taller than our desk. And then here, number one, the whiteboard is shorter than the bulletin board. That's how we compare by two objects. Okay, I hope it was so clear for you. Now, please go with me to exercise B from the same page. Exercise B, we will do number two. Please, number one, do it by yourself. It's too easy, by the way, but you have to firstly to write the measuring of the length, and then you can decide which one is longer than or shorter than. Now, please go with me to number two. I will do it with you. Number two, the question is find the objects and measure them, then write longer or shorter. Number two, we have a bulletin board and we have a chair. And the unit that we measure the length, it's the feet. Okay? Now we have to measure these two objects. Now the bulletin board is about 2 feet, and the length of the chair it's about 4 feet. Okay? Now we have to complete the sentence that we have, which is the bulletin board is how many feet more than or less than the chair. Now look at these two objects. Here the bulletin board are 2 feet, and here 2 feet. And 2, it's less than 4. How many less than 4? Less than 4, 2 feet. So the bulletin board is 2 feet. Because it's less than, so it's shorter than the tree. Okay? And now we just finished our exercises today. The other exercises that we have from our book, I hope you to do it by yourself and then send to me if you did it or not. Thank you for listening to me. That's all about our lesson today. The things that you have to know, and the important things that you have to know, is that to know how to compare between two objects. And how to compare between two objects, we have 2 words. We have to use it, which is longer than and shorter than. And that's all for today. See you later. Thank you for listening to me. Bye.